What's up, graphic designers? Election day is approaching, and we're going to take some inspiration from this campaign marketing ad for AOC, and we're going to design our own campaign print ad. And so here we have one, of course, featuring Nas and his platform, Photoshop for everyone. I love it. You love it. This is amazing. So we need to talk about one thing. Well, actually, a few things. The first thing that we're going to talk about is color inversion. So here, of course, we have purple and yellow, right? And then we have yellow and purple. So what you're going to need to do is identify two colors that you think work well together. Typically, it's going to be a light and a dark color. That way there's some contrast. And I'll select sand and coral. And here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to click File, New. And what we're going to do is we're going to go Print, Letter, and then we're going to have it in portrait mode, vertical mode, and we're going to press Create Beautiful. And so now I'm going to press, actually, we'll do this one more time. I'm going to press Command Control Shift 4. Command Control Shift 4. When we do that, what we're going to be able to do is take a selected screenshot, and I'm going to press Command V. And so now we have this. This is what we're going to be referencing throughout the course of this particular project. I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to do a couple things. So check this out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to click, and I'm going to write vote, and I'm going to increase the size. And what we're going to do is we're going to have multiple layers. Vote for, check to confirm, and I'm going to increase it like this. And we're going to say vote for, you know what, rule number 3. Why not? Rule number, and we'll have one more. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab vote, and I'm going to hold Option, and I remember we can simply duplicate a little something like that when we hold Option, click and drag when using the move tool. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to make sure first that all of these text layers, these individual layers, are more or less left aligned, right? And check this out, guys. If we hold Shift, and we'll notice actually vote, which is the text layer that's in the very bottom of the layers palette. If we hold Shift and then we click the very top one where it says rule number, you'll notice that all text layers are highlighted, meaning we can manipulate them at the same time. Meaning if we press Command T, we can increase and decrease these at the same time. So that's cool. If we press check to confirm, what we can also do now is if we press the letter T while all these layers are highlighted, we can actually change the color of all these text layers simultaneously. So hypothetically, if we wanted these to be this like magenta color, we could certainly do that. We could have them all like orange, this bright orange. Or in the case of this scenario, what we're going to do is we could have them all coral, right? And so I think that's pretty cool. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to temporarily make the background this light blue. And you're going to see why in just a second. And I'm going to unclick. So now you'll notice that there's just a single layer selected in the layers palette. I'm going to create a new layer. We're going to use the paint bucket. Bam. All right. So this is what's going to happen now. I'm going to think about if we're going to take some inspiration from this AOC poster, basically every line is basically reversed in terms of whether it's light and dark, dark and light. So in this case, if we're using sand and coral, I'm going to return to this text right here. And I'm going to have vote and rule number. I'm going to have them be dark. And then I'm going to have 4 and the number 3 be the sand color. So I'm going to press... Actually, I'm going to highlight 4, and then I'm going to hold Command now, and I'm going to select 3 in the layers palette, and you'll notice that there's 2 layers selected. That's cool. I'm going to press T, and what we're going to do is when we click and drag this window, the color picker window away, the eyedropper tool is pulled up, and now you'll notice that they're both these light colors. That's super cool. I'm going to press check to confirm. I really like that. What I also recognize is that the background, I'm going to have the background of this image be the sand color, much in the way with the AOC poster, it's this yellow, right? And so before we do that, what I'm going to want to do is create a new layer underneath. We're going to use the rectangular marquee, and I'm going to create a rectangular marquee selection underneath 4, and I'm going to use the paint bucket, and I'm going to make sure that coral is the color that's selected. So it's going to look a little bit like that. Oh, that's cool. I'm going to press Command D to deselect. I'm going to create another new layer, rectangular marquee. All right, and this one is going to be underneath 3. This is cool. Paint bucket, it's on its own layer. This is amazing. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, before we do anything else, I'm going to make sure that these are all more or less left aligned. All right, so that looks cool. This looks great. And what's going to happen now? Well, You love voting for rule number 3. I love voting for rule number 3. We're going to make sure that all these layers are selected. And so we don't want our sort of color palette layers selected. So we're going to start at the bottom rectangle, layer 4. And then when we hold shift, you'll notice that all these layers and the layers palette are selected. So you guys, if we click edit, and then we're going to go to transform, skew, right? Edit, transform, skew. At the very top, we've got horizontal shifts and vertical shifts. What we're going to do is we're going to do -11. Hey, that looks pretty cool. We're going to press check to confirm. And so now we can shift these up like so. And so this looks really good. So here's how you want to do this. So you're going to start off with your subject. And as we have right here, I'm going to take this layer and I'm going to drag it and I'm going to pop it right back into Photoshop. That's cool. And so here's what I did, ladies and gentlemen. I actually had all of my green layers, like the rectangular contrast, on the same layer. And the reason that when I hide these green, actually these are now parallelograms, right? When we hide them, when we can no longer see that text, is because it's the same color as the background. And I know that if I hide the background, so this is white, right? You can see it kind of faintly, right? But that's not what we want. We want 2 colors. Graphic designers, quick recap. You're going to make sure that every line of text is its own layer. Then you're going to think strategically about what lines of text are the same color. And then what we're going to think about is what other lines of text are going to have the rectangular marquee contrast, right? So here, the rectangles are all on the same layer. You can have all your rectangles on their own layers. And then what we're going to do is make sure we use those layer palette that we selected for the color schemes. Maybe it's yellow, purple, orange, blue, whatever color scheme you want of your choice. And you're going to make sure that it's aligned as we have here. And I use the paint bucket on the background. Next, what we're going to do is make sure that all layers featuring both the rectangular marquees and the text itself are selected by selecting the bottom layer, holding shift and selecting the top. And when we do that, we're going to go to edit, transform, skew. Right? Edit, transform, skew, and then we're going to look at the vertical skew at the very top, and here it's -11 degrees, and it's going to slant it up. And so once you make it -11 degrees, you're going to have something that looks a little bit like the AOC poster. You're going to let me know if you have any questions. You guys are going to do great work. I would vote for all of you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.